When I arrived at UIC as an undergraduate student in the late 1990s, I was looking to leave my downstate hometown of Peoria, Illinois, as far behind as possible. But it was when I became a major in what was then the African American Studies Department at UIC that I first started developing a language that would allow me to deconstruct the narrative linkage between Blackness and failure that had conspired to constrict my life and the lives of so many of the folks I knew and loved growing up in my working class Black community. In subsequent years, Peoria has become an increasing preoccupation of my work, not simply because it is my hometown, but because my people attune me to a mode of struggle in which the dispossessed and the dislocated are at the very center of the fight toward liberation for Black people and for all marginalized people everywhere. My current book project, We Cannot Live Without Our Lives, situates the murders of 9 Black women from Peoria who were killed between 2003 and 2004 within the larger story of not just my own beloved community, but of an entire region that has been increasingly ravaged by the combined effects of deindustrialization, depopulation, and racialized disinvestment since the latter half of the 20th century. In Midwestern cities like Peoria and Chicago and Detroit and Cleveland and East St. Louis and Kansas City and Gary, it is not just the abandoned and dilapidating buildings that mark the terrain. It is the bodies of marginalized Black women turning up dead, one after the other, that are, in the words of James Baldwin, the evidence of things not seen. My project is just one example of the urgent need to study the conditions of Black life in the Midwest. According to one annual report, the worst cities for Black Americans are disproportionately concentrated within the Midwest and Rust Belt. And just last year, another report named Illinois as one of the 5 worst states for Black Americans. And while the significant disparity in the number of Black students at UIC is certainly a UIC problem that all of us at UIC who are working toward justice and social change must contend with, it is also a function of the increasing socioeconomic disparities being experienced by Black communities throughout the greater Midwest. And so perhaps there is no better place for the nascent field of Black Midwestern studies to flourish than UIC. This is the work of the Black Midwest Initiative, which is currently housed in the same Black Studies department that some 25 years ago began giving me a framework for how to do this very work. BMI is a collective of scholars, artists, community organizers, and students with deep ties to the Midwest who are committed to addressing the most pressing concerns facing our communities. We see our work as but a small part of a much larger push toward liberation that neither begins nor ends with us, but that we are uniquely situated to contribute to. And it is work that we do because it is absolutely necessary to saving our own lives. Thank you.